What's going on, guys? Oh my Godzilla back here with a very exciting video for you all today. Today we'll be looking at a comparative review comparing our three big articulated MonsterVerse Burning Godzillas, taking a look at NECA versus HIYA Toys versus SH MonsterArts, taking a look at all the differences and figuring out which figure is the best iteration of Burning Godzilla. Without further ado, let's jump right in.
Oh my god!
Alrighty guys, so here we are back with our three figures, NECA, HIYA, and SH MonsterArts, respectively, guys. We're going to go ahead and start this review off with kind of a detail look, and we're just going to start kind of low and go high. So starting with our NECA, we can see we have really good looking at feet claws, painted, very nice toenails, moving up the legs. Everything looks great. Detail's really spot on. We do have these kind of interesting little lines that kind of work through his body. So there's that, which I never was a huge fan of, but I also think it looks kind of cool, kind of coming back to it after a while. I kind of am actually a little more into it than I was previously, and kind of have him coming out of the spine. So that's kind of fun, moving up the legs. Whereas with HIYA Toys and SH MonsterArts, we don't have any of those individual lines. He just is kind of his color. But both have very good looking feet claws. I think, honestly, I would say the NECA version has the feet claws are a little too, maybe 2014 looking. These HIYA and SH MonsterArts are both definitely going to have, I think, better looking feet and the claws. One of my complaints about some of these guys is that I wish the toe claws were painted a little bit more distinctly. They kind of just blend into the body. HIYA did a little better job than SH MonsterArts, but they definitely kind of just blur into the body. Moving up the legs, they both look really good, really great detail moving throughout the both of them. Obviously, HIYA has a little more kind of a darker scheme going, whereas SH MonsterArts is a lot brighter and more vibrant. So I guess that would kind of just come down to which color palette do you prefer. And then obviously the NECA is a lot of more of a just kind of a dark red with bright spines. Moving into kind of the chest area, guys, we do have some pretty similar chests, I would say, in terms of the detail on all of them. I think SH MonsterArts did a little bit better job of kind of highlighting some of the lines around the chest. I really appreciate and like that. I wish SH MonsterArts did a good job of that. I wish HIYA had done a little bit more of kind of the highlighting around the chest. And then obviously NECA didn't really do anything. They just have a very, very dark chest there. And moving into the head and face and the neck region, we'll kind of turn these guys to the side a little bit, get a good look at the necks. Obviously necks for these two here, the HIYA and the SH MonsterArts, are going to be a little bit different. They have lots of, they have 3 or 4 different points at the neck, whereas the NECA just has the one piece. Not going to really knock NECA for doing that. They did have, they were making these figures for $20 or something, $25 back in the day. Whereas our price point with these other two figures, I believe the HIYA Toys one was right at about $50, like all their figures have been, and the SH MonsterArts was closer to 80 or 90, I believe, when it came out. But I think the SH MonsterArts has a very small head, and I actually don't mind it. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty screen accurate, I would say. No or articulated tongue. We'll address that now. Whereas HIYA Toys definitely has a bit of a bigger head. It does have an articulated tongue, if I can get it to come down off the top of his mouth there. There you go. So you do have some movement on that. But I think both of these two did a really good job of kind of keeping the head and the neck, and the seams aren't too awkward. They look pretty good. There's not really too many awkward gaps or anything. And then obviously NECA is kind of just a different level of just giving us a little less there. But I think they did a really good job on these, the kind of black and red colors they have on the head. I really like the top of the head on this NECA. They did a great job there, I would say. But looking at the two here, kind of tops of the head, HIYA definitely did a better job, I think, with some of those fun colors kind of bleeding through, making it looks like Godzilla's just like the cracked earth with lava coming out of him. Whereas HIYA just kind of has SH MonsterArts, excuse me, just kind of has more of the same. They kind of have that effect coming out of his arm, though. That's one thing I will say about these arms from the front. They look fine, but on the SH MonsterArts, if you look at it from the side, the arms and the legs look like they were painted completely different from the body. Just in terms of color, it's just a really hard stop. And moving into the gapping issues with SH MonsterArts, obviously, like some of these pieces. I mean, you can see in between the leg, you can see straight through the figure there. Definitely some pretty intense gaps on some of the legs, and the chest here. You can see way well down into the figure. A little bit on the tail, but that's really the only gapping issues. The legs and arms and head and neck all look pretty darn solid. Whereas HIYA Toys, definitely a little bit more solid. Really no gapping issues. Everything's pretty darn clean on this figure. The waist is done perfectly. You don't really get any, you don't get the articulation like you get with the SH MonsterArts. But I think the gapping is not an issue at all. And I think that's a bigger pro than losing a tiny bit of chest articulation. And then no gapping really on the NECA either. They did a great job keeping the figures pretty seamless here. And all the lines look great. The legs and stuff match up very well. But moving into articulation, guys, we'll just kind of go a figure at a time, starting with our NECA. So the feet don't really have any bending and flexing in them. They do have some rotation there. No real, and then we do have getting some leg articulation. Not a ton, but we can get kind of straight out to, whatever that would be, 45 degrees or so. And then great movement at the thigh. Really weird swivel it gives you there, but it does go 360. So good thigh action. And then there's not really any in and out. There's just kind of the swivels. Chest, we do get a little bit of rotation. Not much in terms of kind of bending up and down, though. Arms, they are going to get some of that movement. You can pull them out, push them in a little bit. So we do have that joint there. Good 360 on the arms. Bending, not too bad out of the elbow. Not a ton, but we can get some decent bend out of the elbow. The hands, they will swivel some. You can kind of go from down to up here. And they rotate as well, 360. And then in terms of the head and neck, guys, we do have, so this neck piece is attached here and then at the head, but there's really nothing at the actual neck. And then the head, you can get some swivel on. I don't really want to push it past there because it feels like it's sticking a bit, and I don't want to risk breaking anything. And then we do have the mouth articulation. Tongue is fixed. Pretty good look at the head real quick since he's down here. I think the NECA, all things considered, is a great figure. And then really actually successful tail articulation. It doesn't bend a ton. I mean it's pretty good. There's your side to side, up and down. So I think the NECA did a great job, honestly, on the tail, especially considering NECA delivered this figure for less than $30. Great job on everything, I would say. In terms of our HIYA Toys bringing in the big boy, a little bit of point and flex out of the toe, and then we do get that rotation for 360 on the foot. Moving up into the leg, there's kind of the stretch out, and there's the bend back. So honestly, I think NECA might have had better bending on the knee joint there than the HIYA Toys, honestly. But we do have some of that in and out we can get on the thighs, and then those joints will spin pretty well around for a 360. Moving into the chest, like we already touched on briefly, almost don't get anything out of this. Like, it's very tight. I think part of it comes from the spines kind of clashing back here. So I'm not gonna risk hurting this figure. Basically no chest articulation as far as I'd be concerned. Arms, we will get some of that wing flapping motion, and 360 at the shoulder. Moving into the elbow, there's kind of your outstretched, and there's your bend. Not quite 90 degrees, but plenty of articulation, I would say. Wrist articulation, we do get some there, and that does swivel as well. And also swivels at the elbow. So great arm articulation, for sure. And in terms of the head and neck, we do have a little bit more than NECA was offering us, because we have more joints. So there's kind of the extent of it looking down, looking up. You can kind of start to see some gapping if he looks too far up, kind of right up underneath that chin. We do get a little gapping. But great side to side. Very well side to side head spin. And then we obviously do have that open mouth and that articulated tongue, which is always appreciated. It's just kind of a fun additional thing to have on a figure. In terms of in terms of the tail, we got to touch about the tail. So we do get some bend down all the way down. Kind of bend it flat. And that's about the extent we can get in terms of bending the tail up. And side is okay. You kind of got to work the joints. So we can get some pretty decent side action out of the tail. Let me just cut my glove. So not too bad out of the tail on the HIYA. Moving into the SH MonsterArts, guys, looking at the foot here. There's your pointing and flexing. We get a little bit of movement side to side. And then we do have good leg articulation, really easy bend and flex on the joints there, but it doesn't give us a ton of movement. Kind of that to there is really all we're getting. So enough to do your basic moves, but not much else beyond that. We do get the cowboy pose on him with the thighs being movable that way. Easy 360 out of the SH MonsterArts here, guys. And then in terms of the chest, he can kind of look down that way and pull up that way. And he can kind of go side to side. About there is his range of motion. So not a ton, but more than the other two figures. Moving into the arms, guys. Shoulders, we do have in and out, the wing flap. We do have 360 at the shoulder. We do have really great arm bending on the elbow. Super easy to get that joint to articulate. And the forearm kind of rotates here at the middle. And then the hand will have some 360, but no wrist bending like the other figures. In terms of the head and neck, great movement, honestly, on this. This is a great offering from SH MonsterArts, I would say. Because he's got, I mean, he can look all the way down like that, or you can pose him all the way up like that. He can't go straight up, kind of like he does in King of the Monsters. But he has a great range of motion. I really like him kind of looking down, like he's, you know, he's got Ghidorah on the ground or whatever, and he's ready to go in for the finishing blow. And then SH MonsterArts always does a great job with their tails. I think this one's a little bent, sometimes it likes to break off at the joint there, but it doesn't really get much up, honestly. Pretty good on the down. The downward pointy part really coming down at the end there. And then they're side to side, guys. I did this once and the joint popped right off. So honestly, that's about all we get without forcing it. And I think getting that joint to start loosening, like there it goes. But so not a ton of range of motion. Really, really easy to move, but not a ton of range of motion on the SH MonsterArts tail. Guys, in terms of comparing the price of these three figures, it's kind of hard to do because they've all been released at different times, and obviously you can't get them. You can only get the HIYA Toys one new now. At original release, you're looking at about 30, about 50 to 60, and about 80 to 90. So kind of price going up that way. But now I don't really even know where the secondhand prices are at. I know NECAs are kind of creeping up there, maybe into the 50s or 60s even for some of these, depending on the box that you want or if you want it loose. HIYA Toys you can still get for about 50 or 60 bucks, and SH MonsterArts is probably still sitting somewhere hovering around the release price at about 80 or 90, maybe pushing $100. So it would kind of just come down to which one you think is more worth it for the price. Obviously, you're going to get the NECA for the cheapest, but you're getting less articulation, but still a very good figure. I'm very happy with NECA. I wish they were still around. So guys, that's about it. I just wanted to kind of show all three of them off side by side. And let you guys decide who you think is the superior Burning Godzilla. Which one do you think? Let me know in the comment section below which of these three figures is your favorite. I know I have mine. I believe I would say HIYA does edge out the other two. It just is a beautiful figure. The sculpt is amazing. The paint's amazing. I love it. I wish they'd done a little more on the eyes, given us a little more detail there. Maybe some detail on the bottom of the mouth. But I mean, I'm just really digging for insults of this guy because I have basically none. So let me know in the comment section below which one is your favorite, if you have one, if you have two, if you have all three. And let me know if you've decided to purchase one that you don't have, maybe. Guys, stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.